I'm going to be showing you in this video how to raise the mast on a MacGregor 26S. This is a trailerable sailboat which has a swing keel. As you can see, the mast currently sits in the front cradle as well as the rear cradle, and we've added this wooden block in the center just for trailering to stabilize the mast. You're going to want to sort out all of the rigging lines and any ropes that are going to be used to raise the mast. And once you've done that, then you can move the mast back in the cradle so that the base of the mast is in line with the mast stay at the bottom. It just basically has one pin that you push through the mast at the base, and then you'd be able to raise the mast. So you can see here they are just sorting out all the lines, and right now what they're doing is they're going to be using the front sail rope that pulls it up to pull up the mast from the front. And if you have a winch, you can do this by yourself. But if there's two people, it's quite easy for one individual just to pull on the rope that's attached to the front top of the front sail, and the rear individual would just push the mast up, walking forward on the boat. So here they are now lifting the mast into place, just making sure all of the lines aren't getting tangled, and getting into position ready to put the pin in for the mast base. As you can see here, it's inevitable one of the lines is going to get tangled or caught on something, but it's quite easy at this point just to double check and make sure everything's untangled. Once you have it in position, you can simply just put the single pin through the bottom of the mast, and then you're ready to raise the mast. All right, so here they are. The individual in the front of the boat is pulling on that rope that attaches to the top of the sail, and then the other individual just steadies the mast while they pull it up and just gives a little bit of help to get it started. Once that's at about 45 degrees, the individual at the front can do most of the pulling themselves. And again, you can see here they can't quite get it all the way up because that one rear line has gotten caught. So just have that individual just double check everything's where it should be before raising the sail or mast all the way up. And then all that's left to do now is to go to the front of the boat and attach the front stay line, rigging line. This front rigging line is an adjustable line, so it's got a tensioning point on it, so you can tighten up the rigging lines. And you can see here it's just cranking that down. You don't want it too tight, but you want it secured. And the final step then is just to attach the boom. The boom attaches with one pin at the front, and then once the sail is hoisted, you can attach the rear lines to tighten up the sail. But for now, what they're going to do, because they're not attaching or putting the sail up yet, is they're just going to tie off that rear of the boom to the rear rigging line, just to hold it up. One thing that we made a small mistake here was a pain. Once we got out there, we decided to leave the sail wrapped around the boom and figured we could do it once we got out to where we were going to be sailing, but found that it got tangled around the front lines. So it's always best practice to get the boat fully rigged while on land, so that you don't have any problems while you're out on the water, and you can make sure that there's nothing that needs to be fixed or secured, that you may have forgotten something back on land that you now need to go back and get. So rig the whole boat up, make sure you're ready to go before you head out to the water. So the boat's all set to be launched now. Everything is hooked up, other than the sails that need to be put on to the boat and hauled. We just need to put on a bow line so that when we can pull the boat towards the dock once it's launched. All of the tie downs and straps have been removed, and we're just going to back the boat into the water now. The procedure to take the mast down is very similar. You're going to remove that front rigging line, you're going to reattach the front sail and line to the mast so that you can slowly let it down. Just run it around one of the cleats. Have one individual holding that line and one individual slowly walking the mast down. This mast isn't very heavy, but it's just awkward because it's trying to go side to side while you're doing this. So just take your time and just slowly let it down back into the cradle at the back. At this point, all you have to do is just remove that main mast pin at the base, and then you would just lift the mast back into the two cradles, making sure that the rigging lines aren't getting tangled. I missed them taking off the boom, but it's basically just removing that front pin from the boom and then wrapping the sail up onto the boom and storing it inside the cabin. So here they are now ready to just lift the mast back into place for trailering. And there's a pin location at the front of the boat for the base of the mast, as well as a pin location at the back where the mast is just held in place while the boat is being trailered. And you can also see in the video all the water draining out of the bottom of the boat. That water is the ballast. This boat doesn't have a lead keel or any sort of ballast in it when it's being trailered. You fill up a 1,200 pound water bladder inside of the boat, which acts as the ballast for this sailboat. And then once you get the boat back up on land, you just remove a plug and the water drains back out, which makes it nice and light for trailering. So these MacGregor boats they sail quite well, they motor quite well. There actually is an option for a large outboard on the MacGregor X, which you can actually use these boats as a speedboat as well. This MacGregor S simply just has the kicker, but it has the swing keel and the water ballast, allowing it to be trailered to any local lake or ocean. Thanks for watching this video. Stay tuned, as I will have some videos of the boat sailing and an interior cockpit video as well coming up soon.